So next we'll be talking about the Fusion Navigation. This is most commonly used at Seattle Children's for sinus cases that require navigation. Like with anything else, plug it in first. There's a green on switch on the back. And this takes a minute or two to warm up. So now we're at the home screen. You have administrator and ENT. Pull out the mouse, it's tucked behind here. Click on ENT and then hit launch. This also takes a moment. Okay, now you're on the select surgeons screen. We have a couple of surgeons plugged in here, but clicking on standard profile will be just as good. And then follow the arrows up at the top of the screen. This is like selecting OK. Then you'll click on almost always standard FES. Click OK. And now you're at the select patient screen. This is where you want to be to port over a scan through the wireless internet, or you can see it already has a CD in the drive, so it's asking what media format we want to download. You're going to click on standard DICOM because you have several formats to choose from, and click select. And then it will take a few moments to recognize the scan you've wanted. You hit select. And you just wait for it to download. It'll populate over here. The other way you can get a scan is through the wireless network. And you need this blue cable that's plugged into the back of the machine. And you need to be in an OR that has a radiology port specifically designed for this. It's usually recognized by an orange nameplate. To get the scan that way, you call the radiology reading room. Or if the scan has been less than a week old, you can call CT directly. The number for the reading room, however, is on the top of the machine right here. And you'll know you're receiving an exam either through the CD or wirelessly porting, because you'll have this message here that you're actually receiving an exam. Now that it's processed the scan, it's going to give you several warnings, because what you want to use is an axial scan, but there's several different scans for the same patient. So it's just giving you warnings that exam number 17 is non-axial. And this says that several exams were not imported successfully. It probably has to do with other non-axial scans. And here we have a whole list of exams right here. We can scroll through them with this down arrow. And you want to find an exam that is axial slices, like this one. Once you found the exam for the patient that you like, go to Set Up Equipment. And this just tells you the room configuration and the names of the instruments. And then finally, you'll register a patient. You want something that looks more like a face, so that's not a great exam. So we're going to go back and select a different exam. Okay, now that we found an exam we like, you have a person here. This, what is this called? This is the navigation bar that straps across the patient's forehead. By clicking on it, you can lift it. So you click the center of the patient's forehead and the bar will move with it. and then you can turn the head by dragging. So once that's in a more proper position in the middle of the forehead, then you'll register the probe. And to do this, you need the actual human in front of you, so we won't be doing that today.
The images can be adjusted through two different settings here. The first one that we most commonly use is adjusting the contrast with this button, and then you drag the mouse to adjust the contrast of the images. The second way is adjusting the windowing. There's a default setting which usually is pretty good, but then you can adjust the window from soft tissue to bone. And since we're tracing off of the skin, you want it set on soft tissue. And you should see the outline of the patient's skin on this window here.
Once you're finished with the case, there is a specific way to shut down the navigation system. You're going to exit out of the scan. It's going to load again. You're back to your home screen, and you're going to go to shut down system at the bottom. Do not shut it down until it gives you an OK. On this next screen, it will say it's OK to shut it down. And now it says the system is ready to be powered down, and you can flip the green switch on the back. Just another note about the magnet that's used for navigation. This should always be stored here and not coiled around anything else. This is a very delicate piece of the machine.
So what happens if I just turn off the green button?
It takes a long time to boot up. Like
Don't we lose
you noticed
all
this
the-
morning that when I turned it on, it took a really long time. That's because someone had left the green button on and unplugged it.